And look at that. That is an absolute blind flight through Tamburello and on towards Tosa. The first big braking zone. I can't even see where the car ahead of me is. Welcome to scenic Imola, where the rain has been pouring down earlier today, leaving us with an interesting setup for today's San Marino Grand Prix. Race 1 of the 1991 Formula One World Championship is already in the books in a season where we want to take Minardi to the podium, and while we showed promising pace, the result in Interlagos was just not there in the end. The issue has been identified as some spongy bit between the wheel and the engine. Today though, we'll have another chance, as it is one of two home races for both Pierluigi Martini and Minardi. And in 1991, it was a pretty good one as well, as this was one of the two occasions where Martini finished 4th, albeit thanks to a truly chaotic race, starting on a super wet track and that ultimately only 10 drivers finished. To give you an indication on how wet it was, Alain Prost spun on the formation lap and didn't start the race at all, while JJ Lehto used the conditions to his advantage to achieve a famous podium for the Scuderia Italia team in a car that was arguably worse than the Minardi that year. Considering this, I think today's goal needs to be at least a point for us, and it helps that Martini actually qualified 9th for this race. So there really is something in it for us if we manage to cope with the tricky track conditions. Lower down the grid, there is some interesting stuff going on as well, as Emanuele Pirro, after finishing 7th in Brazil, didn't make the cut today. So instead, we see Eric van der Poel making the first appearance for the Lamborghini team. And with that, let's start the 1991 San Marino Grand Prix in Imola. Well, and here we are, wet tires fitted to our car, as we wait for the green lights that I've gone on now, and we go racing at Imola, and it's a very treacherous getaway. I think we are also on the wrong side of the track there. And look at that. That is an absolute blind flight through Tamburello and on towards Tosa. The first big braking zone. I can't even see where the car ahead of me is. That is quite the appalling sight, as we are alongside Roberto Moreno actually. So we're doing okay-ish so far, and once again he disappears into the mist. Now I think it is a McLaren. Yes, it is Gerhard Berger ahead of us as we go through Piratella for the first time, and then towards the very, very awkward version of Aqua Minerale from back in the day. That is really... I do not like this corner in that configuration. It is such a great one these days. But back then, with that awkward chicane fitted in front of it, it is really a clumsy, clumsy corner. Now to a corner that I never liked on this circuit. Another very clumsy chicane, the Variante Alta, but now a good run towards the Rivazzas later in this race. This might be one of the good overtaking opportunities. There's not too many on this track, but the best one is, of course, on the start-finish straight all the way towards Tosa, flat out, no chicanes back then. A very, very fast track, Imola, back in the 80s and 90s. Well, and that is the first lap already gone, and you can see it's not that wet in the second half of the track. Will be interesting to see how this looks once we go through Tamburello towards Tosa the second time, and already the spray is not so bad. Of course, the cars are now a bit more separated and not so close together as they were at the start of this race. Well, but as soon as someone leaves the racing line, there's still lots of spray kicking up, as Berger has a little look against PK, and we try to take this to our advantage, but not the greatest exit for PK either, so no chance to get alongside Berger. Compared to our starting grid position, we lost 2 places to both of the Benetons. It was. And here now, the spray is almost gone. So with no new rain falling down, the track, I think, will dry quite quickly. Well, still, you can see a lot of reflection of the sky on the track, so there's still lots and lots of water. But the spray is better, and we are actually very close to Gerhard Berger there, but yeah, as there is a little kink going down to Rivazza, it's difficult to get your car alongside. Either you have to be alongside already before that kink, or you have to really brake aggressively and dive bomb into Rivazza, but it's way too early for this kind of shenanigans. As well, we've just finished lap 2, and the good news is we're sticking with these guys here, so yeah, they're not getting away from us. And again, yeah, this is still the part of the track where there is the most water, and before this is dry, it doesn't make any sense to switch onto the dry tires, because flat out through that bend it is very, very dangerous. I learned that in the first attempt we had at the 1991 season, and I was coming out of the pits with dry tires and crashed out. Well, here we are now at the end of lap 4, and interestingly, ahead of us, a few cars went into the pits, including the McLaren of Gerhard Berger. So temporarily we are up into 7th. There is a Williams coming out of the pits. This is Riccardo Patrese. So Patrese already on the slicks. And this will be interesting. How quick can he go? And we will see that, because he is right behind us. Or if he can go quicker, he will be right behind us in a couple of seconds. For now, though, we still have the two Benettons and the Jordan just ahead of us. I can't see which of the two Jordans this is. But still, we can stick with them. And these might be the guys that fight for the points later on in this race. In fact, Jordan, double points finish in Interlagos last time. 3rd and 4th on their debut. This is only the team's 2nd race in Formula 1, and oh, look in the mirrors behind us, Patrese is already there, so it seems like he's doing well on the slicks, but I think I'm struggling still too much on grip. And look at that, there is still, well, here is a dry line, but before Variante Alta it was just water everywhere, and still Tamburello is so treacherous even on those tires that I do not dare to come in this lap either. Let's see what the others ahead of us do. But yeah, the parts of the track where it's okay with a dry racing line, Patrese is climbing all over the back of us. And look at that, the two Benettons and the Jordan ahead of us, also in the pits, so we should temporarily take the lead. No, we don't, because Riccardo Patrese has seen enough, just goes alongside, accelerates, and I think this is now the cue for me to go into the pits. Actually, there is a car ahead of us still. I think Patrese should be the leading car of those that have already gone for slicks, so there's still someone that is also very, very cautious on that call. Well, I have decided to go into the pits, and we are just approaching them now. Nigel Mansell is climbing all over the back of us. He will be very glad to see that we have come in now. And there we are. Look at the temperatures of our rear tires. So I think it's really time, because most of the track has a dry line now. I am still very, very concerned about the track conditions in Tamburello. So this is where we have to take it very, very close. We come out behind our teammate. This is Gianni Morbidelli coming through. Oh, now Mauricio Gugelmin in the March also coming through. And look, left mirror. That is JJ Lehto in the Dallara, trying to also take advantage of us, making it out of the pit lane. I'm still very cautious here. You can hear me lift through that right-hand kink just ahead of Tosa. Here in Tosa, it looks absolutely dry. At least on the racing line. Don't look to the left and right. So I think this part of the track is still... it is already pretty good. So I'm a bit more confident here, but yeah, as I said, this is pretty much a reconnaissance lap now to see where the water is here. You really need to stay on the racing line, because off the racing line it is very, very wet. You were just able to see it there. Again, here towards Variante Alta, up the hill. This is looking all pretty good. And now this is another point that I am concerned with. Here, well, the asphalt is also darker here, so it's more difficult to see if it is dry on the racing line, but there is still a lot of water in the Rivazas, especially the second one, so I'm taking it very, very slow. Way too slow, because there is JJ Lehto again, and you can also see Mauricio Gugelmin, how much more confident he is already in these conditions. But the good thing that is helping us now is to overtake, you need to leave the racing line and go onto the wet stuff with the slicks. So we are safe for now from JJ Lehto. And more good news, as here we are halfway through lap 9. I have now gained confidence and I'm pushing far more than I have been before, and that means I am getting closer to that march ahead of us. Sorry, it is not a march, it is actually a Leighton-House, the team formerly known as March, that has been rebranded ahead of the 1990 season. And now, with a good exit, we might have a chance on the long, long run to the Tosa hairpin. However, now we face the problem that I've mentioned earlier. To overtake, you need to leave the racing line. It is looking better and better now. I don't dare to go too far round the outside, but this here, the straight bit, there is a chance. There is a lot of dry tarmac there, and alongside and past Gugelmin we go. Tosa quite safe already, and up to P13. Next car up the road, our teammate Gianni Morbidelli, and as we have been gaining on Gugelmin, we have also been gaining massively across the last, well, 1.5 laps on our teammates. We had a battle already in the first race in Sao Paulo. There I was calling for team orders. Well, I have learned my lesson, and yeah, my mouth stays shut for this race. I'll do the commentary afterwards to not embarrass myself. And wow, look at that. We're really gaining a lot on our teammates, and already past the start-finish line, we might already have a chance to try and get past him as well. So, it's all down to get a good exit here. This is looking good. Slipstream. And now, where do we go? Down the inside. Very important that you are alongside before the corner starts, because then it is tricky to actually get alongside a car that you're trying to pass. It's also pretty dangerous there. And now through Tosa and up to 12th. Well, and just a lap later, as we are approaching Tosa, there is a pleasant surprise waiting for us at the exit, because there is a plume of smoke, and that is the Jordan of Bertrand Gachot, who is out of the race, engine blown, up to 11th for us. Why don't we jump ahead in time a bit here, as we have caught up to the two Benettons. These were the guys that we were staying right behind before our pit stop. Well, we've caught up to them again. We lost quite a bit by stopping late. This is definitely what you can see here. But we are faster than these three guys. So it's the two Benettons, and ahead of us, this is Stefano Morda in the Tyrrell Honda. We've battled with the Tyrrells in Interlagos as well, so we know we have the superior power in a straight line thanks to the Ferrari V12 engine in the back of our car, and it seems like we're even faster than the Ford Cosworth V6s that are in the Benettons. Ooh, and they are having quite a spicy battle of their own. Roberto Moreno just passed his teammate Nelson Piquet. He won't let off easy, but he has to yield ultimately. And now this is a bit more of a tricky situation for us to get past here. Imola, quite the narrow track. So, yeah, when two cars battle and go alongside each other, there's just no way to go for us. But there is, of course, always the chance that something goes wrong for one or even both of them. And then we can just simply pick up the pieces. But we need to do this a bit more measured and cautiously. It is a poor exit for Piquet though. He got a bit much of that outside curb there on Variante Alta, and we're even getting a very good run on Moreno. Now I'm passed, but I wasn't so sure while driving, so I leave a lot of space that I didn't even need to leave there for Moreno on the inside. So he stays alongside, and here bravely he retakes the position, but he knows he's done for, because once again we have the power advantage. And look at that, even before Tamburello, we are not only alongside but past Roberto Moreno and up into 8th. Careful, still looking in the mirrors there, because he might get some slipstream and try something into Tosa. Ooh, locking the front left a bit. Should be careful with this. You can see in the mirrors they are gone, and now we're up to 8th, 6.5 seconds behind the Cesaris in 7th, and more crucially, the Cesaris is only 3.1 seconds behind Alesi, and we have just under half the race to go to get up to that P6, because this is where the point scoring positions start. So, lap 23 now, and that small little car ahead of us that you can barely see right now, that actually is Andrea de Cesaris. So, our pace is really strong in the dry, and it is now properly dry. Sun's even poking out a bit between the clouds now, so even off the racing line it is completely bone dry now, which is very good for overtaking and racing. And now you can definitely make out that this is a Jordan. You can see the bright green of that car, legendary livery. They only ran it for 1 year though, which is quite the shame. The 7-Up livery, probably one of the most iconic ones in Formula One. Also aided by the fact that this is the one where Michael Schumacher had his first race in, and the Cesaris also. That is the same that happened to Piquet when we passed him. Bit too much off the curb, slow on the power, and ahead of Rivazza we are already past and into 7th, and now look at that. Alesi and Berger are having a battle ahead of us, so this is slowing them down as well. And just a couple of car lengths ahead there is also Alain Prost, and now they, for the first time, they're in lap traffic, as the Cesaris has a little look, or should still look into my mirrors, and that Lotus, that is Julian Bailey, is holding up Alesi and Berger. We managed to get by quite easily, and yeah, by that we have gained, I don't know, around 3 seconds probably. So that gap already gone as well. So we're properly part of the battle for the points, and now I need to really take this cautiously. I do not want to risk a great result, but I do want to get at least past one of them to achieve our goal of finishing in the points. And of course, if the opportunity is there, well, you want to go for P5 instead of P6, won't you? So, right now, it's all about watching where might be our opportunity against these two. This might be a bit more tricky towards Tosa, because A, the car ahead of us is also a Ferrari V12, and B, they are in a battle of their own again. So let's just stay behind for now and watch what they're doing. It hasn't been the greatest of exits. Still, we're gaining a lot there on Jean Lazy, but we caught him at exactly the wrong part of the track, right out of Tamburello. And then at the end of Tamburello again, where we had a wheel on the grass even. So this is really not where you want to meet another car. Ah, now I mess it up through Tosa. And, well, drop behind a bit as I get too much onto the curb. We've benefited from this when it happened to other guys before. But more good news. Another Lotus holding them up. Our Prost catches him at exactly the wrong part of the track. Now they all slip through. Oh, it's getting very close for Alazy, but also for us. I was trying to get down the inside, but he was just, yeah, moving towards the inside to make room on the outside. So that could have been a tremendous crash. A horrible crash. As, well, this now is a four-way fight, and now even fourth seems possible with 4.5 laps to go. And remember, fourth is where Martini actually finished this race, so we have the chance here to replicate that amazing result of Pierluigi Martini in the actual 1991 San Marino Grand Prix. So let's watch how this four-way fight develops. Now the Ferraris have the power advantage. We're getting once again a better exit than Alazy, but he's kind of in the middle of the road and you don't really manage to get alongside. And as I said, I don't want to risk anything by trying to pull off silly moves. I want to play this cool and easy. Well, but there might be a difference between wanting to and actually doing it. Especially since, well, that embarrassing driving that I pulled off in Interlagos. We need a clean race now. And once again, better exit than Alazy. I decide to go for the outside, but that gap was always gonna disappear. And now he is in the slipstream of Gerhard Berger. Berger himself trying to get alongside Prost, but now it is a lazy pass. We're getting boxed in. Alazy trying to get past Berger. Now I take a wide entry, try the up and under, and it actually works. We're alongside and past Jean Lazy. And however, Berger, who was about to be passed by all of us, came out on top of this battle. I do not have a clue how he did that. Well, it is Berger now in fourth, we're in sixth, and therefore in the points. But that battle is still not over. Jean Lazy still behind us, so we cannot rest now. And of course, now we want to get that fourth place. Because it is just, it's a carrot dangling right in front of us. And we're so close to fourth. So, once again, it's another battle between a McLaren and Ferrari ahead of us. And I decided to watch that and see if once again we can pick up the pieces like we did against Jean Lazy by just preparing our car for a better exit when they're battling and just slip by them when they least expect it. Again, we might have a chance into Tosa. I'm gaining a bit, but this is now where I want to be alongside. We're not close enough, and neither is Prost to pulling off a move against Berger. He has a little look. Once again, I tried to stick on the outside line, but then the up and under didn't work there. Well, Professor, too smart for this kind of shenanigans, so you've seen that coming. Blocks the inside. No chance for us to get by this time. Oh, and once again, lap traffic. That is the Tyrrell of Satoru Nakajima. And once again, they catch them at a terrible point at the track. Ahead of the awkward Aqua Minerale chicane. Now this time he lets us through. He almost didn't see us there. Another scary moment with a back marker. But we're still close to these two. And now something very interesting is happening. Berger is getting away from Prost. And not only that, now look at what is happening at the exit of this corner. There is just no more power in that Ferrari. Look, I'm almost alongside going into Variante Bassa, so he surely has some kind of problem with the engine. There is just not the power that should be there. And look at that, how easy we're gaining here. Once again, ahead of Tamburello. We are already alongside and easily past Prost. Now he might get the slipstream. He's still there. He has a little look into Tosa. We leave him the space. But as soon as we get the power down here at the exit, and yeah, you can see it once again. He's dropping back in on mirrors. And yeah, that is it with Alain Prost up into 5th. This is already the start of the final lap here, and Berger has managed this, has taken the opportunity to get away from us a little bit when Prost had this, what I presume is a power issue. Very late on the brakes into Tosa, and there are some back markers. The first one is Thierry Boutsen in the Ligier. Oh, Berger tries to go alongside him on the outside, but he doesn't see him. The exit, the gap was just disappearing there. Once again, we cut down towards the inside. It was pretty close with Boutsen there as well. Oh, very nicely done there by the Brabhams. They just let us by very, very easily. We're up to 4th. Berger is still stuck behind the 2 Brabhams because he only catches them now. Oh, he will be furious with Thierry Boutsen in the Ligier. That has cost him 4th. Well, we were very lucky there, but I take it. It is part of the sport as we come round Rivazza for the final time. Just Variante Bassa to go. And then we will actually replicate 4th. We equalize Pierluigi Martini's career best result in Imola 1991. 3 points for us and Minardi. Well, and these are the point scorers of today. It's a Williams 1-2, Patrese leading home Mansell with a comfortable gap of over 16 seconds. Senna finishes 3rd, and then it's quite the gap, but it is us in 4th. Berger 5th, and Prost managed to hold on to 6th. Well, and then here is the Drivers' Championship. Mansell still in the lead. Patrese enters into 2nd. He's ahead of Senna on countback. Gachot still in 4th. De Cesare is 5th, and then 6th, us, Pierluigi Martini. And we have quite the illustrious list of names behind us, as you can see here. Well, it is only momentarily, but it is still a nice picture for us. And the same is the case in the Constructors' Championship. Williams, McLaren, Jordan, Minardi, ahead of Benetton and Ferrari. And that has been it for race 2 of our 1991 Formula One World Championship in Automobilista 2. The next one is an absolute classic as we go racing at the streets of Monaco. Subscribe to not miss that and leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.